Aces and deuces can be handled with ease. But if you turn up an 8, you better freeze on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry.
Oh, that's a nice outfit. I like that, Jack. Thank you. Welcome to Card Sharks. Happy to have you here with us. And thank you for joining us at home. You're very kind. Thank you, Gene Wood. And, yeah, here's someone who knows how the game is played. Randy Gaster of Toledo, Ohio, watching us on WSPD TV, Channel 13. Thank you, Randy. Now let's open up the board and get to the cards. And Janice and Lois, if you will, start loading in the cards, and we'll meet our card sharks. Debbie Norwood, our champion. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Jim.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Won't you again remind us about yourself?
Yes, I was originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm living in California now. I have 2 beautiful children, and I teach nursery school. I have 14 other children there, too.
Yeah. Do your children ever get jealous about the other children in the school?
Well, not really, because they know that I really, really do love them. Sometimes when they come to school and they see me giving hugs out, they kind of want an extra one, so I give them to them,
Sounds
too.
like you handle it very well. And you handle yourself very well here as a champion, too. Deb, nice to have you back. And our challenger is Sherry Wright. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you.
You too.
And won't you again tell us about yourself?
I'm a student at UCLA. I'm from Glendale, California. I work part-time in a restaurant, and I like scuba and aerobics.
Scuba and aerobics. Yes, so that's the exercise.
Yeah.
Good. You're a busy lady. And you don't know yet what you're going to do when you finish, right?
No, I have no idea.
All right, you got to think about it. Nice to have you back here with us.
Thank
Now, you
you.
both cut the cards before we started the match, and we'll pick up where we left off. And we are in the middle of game number 2. Debbie, the champion, won game 1. Looking at the board, Debbie's turned over a queen as her base card. She needs 4 cards. Sherry has turned over a 5. She also needs 4. And we pick up with question 3, and it goes to you, Debbie. Debbie, we asked 100 first-grade kids, if you were a parent, would you make your kids eat spinach? How many first graders said they would make their own kids eat spinach?
Oh, first graders hate spinach. I think all children hate spinach. I don't think they would make their children eat spinach. I think the number's going to be quite low. I'd say 20.
20 out of 100 would make their own kids eat spinach. Higher or lower, Sherry?
When I was a kid, my mom made me eat liver, and I tried my darndest to get rid of that liver, and I couldn't. And I think it's going to be even lower than that.
You going to make your kids eat liver sometime?
No, never.
So you say lower.
Never.
If it is lower, Sherry, you'll play your cards. If not, Debbie plays hers. The actual number of first graders who'd make their kids eat spinach is 29. Not lower. It's a little higher, Debbie.
I like the
29.
queen. I'll
Guess
keep
they
that queen.
thought if it happened to them, it could happen to their kids.
That's
You
right.
got a queen, Deb.
That's great. I'll go lower.
Going to play it lower? No, an ace. Not lower. And right away, Sherry with a free chance to play off the 5.
Okay, I'll go higher.
Higher than a 5, it is a 10.
Okay, I'll freeze.
You're going to freeze it. We move over the
Yeah.
freeze bar, protecting that position.
Be safe.
Janice fills in the spaces, and now Debbie needs 4 cards, and Sherry needs 3, and we're at sudden death. Someone has to win it right now. Sherry, we asked 100 married women, do you own one nightgown that gives your husband the unmistakable message, I'm not in the mood tonight? How many married women have a nightgown that means they're not in the mood?
I know those high-neck flannel nightgowns that come all the way to the
Oh, I
floor.
find them wonderful. You-
Something's wrong there.
And the little feet in them, too? Oh, all that stuff.
Definitely.
How many have a nightgown that means they're not in the mood?
I think about 62 women have one of those nightgowns.
62 have one of those not in the mood gowns, Deb.
I know I have one of those.
You got one?
Yeah, it's got Mickey Mouse on the front, and it really isn't very good at all.
Mickey Mouse, no.
But I think it's going to be a little bit lower than that.
Lower than
Yes.
Mickey Mouse, huh?
Yeah.
Sherry says 62, Debbie says lower. The actual number of women who have a nightgown that means I'm not in the mood is 23. Debbie's right, it is lower. So Debbie has control and an interesting board. With a queen, a good base card, you need 4 cards. Sherry with a 10 needs 3. It's sudden death, and you've got control. Play it or pass it,
Well,
Deb.
I'm going to do it again, Sherry. You can have it.
All right, Sherry, you need all 3 cards to win. If you make one mistake, then Debbie goes for the big money. You need this. With a 10, what do you say?
Lower.
Lower than a 10. No, right away it is not, and Debbie wins it in sudden death. She took control, and she won it. Sherry, we thank you for joining us. Much good fortune with your studies. Thank you for being here.
Bye-bye.
Very right. And Debbie, every time you win, you get nervous. It's like, my goodness, I did it again. Yes. And Debbie Norwood goes for the big money with the money cards right after this commercial break, so don't go away. Congratulations. And we are back with our champion, Debbie Norwood. See how we snuck up here with Debbie? And Debbie, you cut the money cards?
I sure did.
Okay, let's get to the money cards right now. Come on, Deb. Over here, over here. Over there. I thought you were going this way.
I know where I'm going.
Here comes $200 in new money and 3 cards on the bottom line. Move up to the second level, another $200 and 3 more cards. Minimum bets, of course, you know, $50. Till you get to that top card, the big bet, there you must risk at least half of it. Good luck, Deb.
Thank you.
Come on, let's clean up. Here's
Okay.
$200. You can change the base card, 2 in each of the 3 levels. And with $200, Debbie, you'll start with, an 8.
Change that card.
I can only change it once. You must play this one.
Right?
Oh,
Okay,
9.
well-
Not much better.
I'll bet $50 and it'll be lower.
Minimum bet $50, lower than a 9. No,
Oh.
not bad for $50, though. A king.
Right. I'll bet $100 and it'll be lower.
$100, lower than a king. Yeah.
Okay.
$250.
Okay. I'll bet $50 and it'll be lower.
Let's see it much lower. $50, lower. That's low enough.
Okay.
$300. We move
Okay.
up to 5 and give you the other 200. You have 500. Do you want that 5?
I want to change that card.
Let's see a good change this time. Come on. Ooh, right near the middle again.
Well, I will bet $100 that it's higher.
$100, higher than a 7?
Okay.
400 and a 4. Deb, you're inching along.
That's right. I'll bet $100 that it's higher.
Come on, we haven't. Let's see one way up there. $100 higher. Well,
All right.
again, you win 100 and you're near the middle again.
Okay, I'll bet $200 that it's lower.
$200, lower than a 9. Yeah.
All right.
Well, with this conglomeration of lousy cards, you have $700 as we move up to 6.
They are lousy. I'll change that card.
You deserve a good one now. The 6
let's have
becomes
it.
a 10.
Oh.
And you are destined to play this entire money cards
right.
near the middle. Debbie,
With
you must
bad
bet at least
cards.
$350.
Okay, I'll bet $500 that it's lower.
$500. You're going to make a good-sized bet on a 10. Let's be there.
Let's
Come on.
go.
Lower. It is.
All right.
Well, to come out of that with $1,200 is very good. I think you had every middle card in the deck there, Debbie. My goodness. But $1,200, $200 in the game, $1,400 is not bad. Debbie Norwood did a sensational job with terrible cards, and we'll be right back with a new challenger after this. Look at all the middle cards. And we are back. Game 1 went to the challenger, and now with Debbie needing 1 card in game 2, Rich needing 4, we're at sudden death, and someone's going to have to win it right now. And Debbie, the question to you. Now, Debbie, we've all heard the line that bachelors use, "Don't I know you from somewhere?" You must have heard that when you were single.
Many times.
Well, we asked 100 bachelors, have you ever been able to convince a woman who was a complete stranger that you actually knew her from somewhere? How many bachelors have convinced a stranger that they knew her from somewhere?
I think if the woman really wants the man to think he knew her from somewhere,
we said how many
she
have
would
convinced her.
Right. So I think that it really depends on that. However, I think that I would say about 60.
60 out of 100 have been able to convince someone. What do you think, Rich?
Well, I know guys will continue to try all the lines and everything, but I don't think they'd be that successful. No, I'd have to say be lower.
Lower. Well, this will decide control in sudden death. The actual number of bachelors who've convinced a stranger they knew her from somewhere is 42. Rich is right. It is lower. Well, Rich has control, but he has a tough road to hoe right now because in sudden death, you've got a 2 needing 4 cards. Debbie needs only 1, but she's got a good base card now, a queen. Your big decision. Play it or pass it.
It's a terrible decision, Jim. Let me play it. Let's try it.
You're going to try to do it yourself.
I'll go with it.
Get them all. You are the new champion. Make 1 mistake, and Debbie ties it up. With a 2, what's this?
Higher, higher.
Higher than a 2. Yes, a 9.
Lower.
Lower than a 9. Another 9 is not lower, and Debbie ties it up in sudden death. So, that turned out to be an opportune freeze for Debbie, putting a lot of pressure on Rich, and it paid off with a tiebreaker now. 3 cards up there, 3 questions here, and the question to you, Rich. Rich, we asked 100 people, would the United States be better off with a king instead of a president? How many people think the U.S. would be better off with a king?
I've got to believe the number's low, Jim. We've got so many people who think the presidential office has too much power already. I've got to say 19.
19 out of 100 say would be better off with a king, Debbie.
I think it's going to be even lower.
Even lower than that.
Okay.
The actual number of people who think the United States would be better off with a king is 7. She's right. It is even lower. And Debbie starts the tiebreaker with a 6.
Change that card.
Changing the card to another 6.
Okay, I'll go with the odds. I'll say higher.
Higher than a 6. An 8.
Okay. I'll freeze.
And she's going to freeze that middle card, needing 1 card for the championship. And we'll quickly get to the next question, Debbie. No, we run out of time. I can't get to that commercial, that question. I've got to get to this commercial, they're telling me. We'll be right back. Well, that's all the time we have, but I must say it's been a pleasure. Debbie and Rich, you both played the game very well, so we'll invite you back to finish this match, and I hope you'll come back and join us. Remember, on Monday, we will announce the winner, or we'll have the drawing to find out who wins the sweepstakes. Is going to come right here and play the money card. See you tomorrow on Card Sharks. Bye-bye.
I represent all. Aces are high, deuces are low, but it's the cards in between that make the show on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry.
Thank you very much. I thank you, and welcome to Card Sharks. Nice to have you here. Thank you so much. You're very kind. Thank you. And a good opening poem from Ms. H. Diggs of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, watching us on WIIC-TV, Channel 11. Thank you, Ms. Diggs. If you were with us on our last show, you know we were in the middle of a match with 2 nice people. Well, one of them, Rich Dorst, got a little under the weather, and he could not come back and compete today, so we're going to invite Rich back on a future show. But we don't want to take anything away from our champion, Debbie Norwood, so we have awarded the match to her. She's got the money, and she's going for the big money right now. Let's bring her out, Debbie Norwood. Debbie, nice to see you again.
Glad to be here again, Jim.
I'm sorry we couldn't finish the match, but our congratulations, because you were playing good as always. Won't you again tell us about yourself?
Yes, I'm Debbie Norwood, and I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, but I'm living here now in California with my husband and my 2 children, and I teach nursery school part-time, and I love my life.
Good. You cut the money cards?
Yes, I did.
Let's get to them. Come on, Debbie, let's open up the board and get to those money cards. Pop one up there. And clean things up here a little bit. Janice and Lois, if you will, start dealing them out. We give Debbie $200 of new money and 3 cards on the bottom line to bet as she will. Up to the second level, another $200 of betting money and 3 more cards. Minimum bets, remember, $50 till you get to that top card, the big bet. There you must risk at least half of it. Good luck, Deb.
Thank you.
And here's $200.
Okay.
And remember, too, that you can change that base card on each of the 3 levels if you need to. Debbie, you start with $200 and a 6.
Change that card.
You can only change it once, so you must play this one. Oh, with 2, a great change.
I'll bet 150 higher.
How much?
200 higher, all of it.
All of it?
All of it.
I just didn't hear you. I don't want to talk you into anything,
No,
Deb.
200, all of it,
All of it.
higher.
$200 that this card is higher than a 2. It is.
Okay.
Well, if I had, it was a good talking.
Yes. I'll bet $100 lower.
$100
Yes.
that this card is lower than a jack? Yes, with another 2.
Okay. I'll bet all of it higher.
For $1,000 higher than a 2. Yes, and a great card comes up. Oh, with $1,000, we move up a good card and give you another $200. You have $1,200 and a king.
I'll bet it. I'll bet 1,100 lower.
$1,100 that
Yes.
this card is lower than the king. Yes, with a 9. Already $2,300, but now you're near the middle, Deb.
I'll bet 50. That'll be lower.
Minimum bet $50 on a 9. Lower. Right.
Okay.
Still near the middle.
I'll bet $50 that it'll be higher.
$50 higher than a 7. An 8. Oh, a sensational card to come up with $2,400.
I'll bet all of it lower.
Come on, for $4,800. Be there lower. Yes! $4,800. 200 for the game. That's $5,000, Debbie. Way to go. You don't believe it, huh?
No one's going to believe it. They're going to have to see it.
Do you see your total out there now?
No. Yeah.
$7,100 in cash. Debbie Norwood's a very happy lady, and she's got a new challenger coming out right after this commercial break. Way to go. Way to go. Okay, Debbie. Janice deals out 2 brand new decks of cards. Time to meet a new challenger on Card Sharks. Michael Frierson. Hello, Michael.
How's it going, Jim?
Good. Nice to have you here. Very dapper dressed
Right.
gentleman.
Thank you very much, sir.
Won't you tell us about yourself?
My name is Michael Frierson, and I was born in Los Angeles, California. I'm recently employed by the Seattle Mariners. I'm in their minor league system right now, and I'm also a college graduate of Cal Poly Pomona.
Very good. Very good. How long have you been playing in the minors now?
This is my first year with the Seattle Mariners.
How'd you do?
Well, I did fairly well. I had a slight accident that set me back, but other than that, I'm proud with my
Good. Well,
game so
we
far.
wish you well with it. I know you want to make the majors.
All right.
Nice
Thank
to
you
have
very
you here,
much.
Michael.
Okay.
You cut the cards?
Yes, I did.
You both cut your cards.
Yes, I did.
All right, here we go. Best 2 out of 3 starts with a question to the champion. Debbie? Debbie, we found 100 men who are paying alimony to their ex-wife. And we asked them, are you ever deliberately late with your alimony check just to irritate your ex-wife? How many men admitted they've been late with the alimony check just to irritate their ex-wife?
Anyone who has an ex-wife obviously is irritated with her because she's not with him anymore. I think it's going to be a very high number. I would say 80.
80 out of 100 have been late with the check. What do you think, Michael? Higher or lower?
Well, I believe that just because you're divorced, that doesn't mean you're irritated with your wife. And usually people, when they have the money to pay the alimony, they usually pay it on time. I think it's lower than that.
You say lower. It is lower, Michael. You'll play your cards. If not, Debbie plays hers. The actual number of men who've been late with their alimony check just to irritate their ex-wife is 22. Michael is right. It is very much lower.
Play those cards.
So it's Michael who gets the first look at his cards with a 9.
I don't like that card. Change that card.
Winning the question, you can change it. Good change.
All
A
right,
4.
we're going higher. Higher.
Higher than a 4. Oh, no.
Higher.
Ooh, a 2. 2 came up at the wrong time for Michael. Debbie with a free chance.
Okay.
At a queen.
I'll go lower.
Lower than a queen. A 6.
I'll freeze.
And we move over the freeze bar, protecting that position for Debbie. Janice fills in the space for Michael with the next card off the top of his deck. And the question to you, Michael. Michael, we asked 100 third-grade girls. Which would you rather be, President of the United States or Miss America? How many third-grade girls would rather be Miss America?
Well, due to the fact that Miss America Beauty Pageant is a very popular pageant on TV, and it shows beauty, you know, and I think all the young girls want to be classified as being beautiful, so I'd say it's a very high number. I would say about 55.
55 out of 100 would rather be Miss America than the President.
I agree with him. I think every little girl's dream is to be Miss America someday, and I think it's going to be much higher.
Even higher than that?
Oh, yes.
The actual number of third-grade girls who would rather be Miss America is 85. It is much higher. Debbie is right. Now then, Debbie, we left off with a 6.
Change that card.
Changing the 6 to
Oh, yes.
a 3. A good change.
I'll go higher.
Higher than a 3. A 10.
Okay. Lower.
Gonna risk it lower. It is a 7.
I'll freeze.
And we move over the bar again, and Debbie needs 1 card for the first game of the match. Debbie, we found 100 married women. Or excuse me, we asked 100 married women. Well, first we found them, and then we asked them. I'll get it right. We asked 100 married women. Has your mother-in-law ever told you that you just weren't good enough for her son? How many women said the mother-in-law did tell them they're just not good enough for her son?
Well, my mother-in-law thinks I am terrific. But from talking
Good.
to a lot of other people, I know that there are many out there who do that. I think 60.
60 out of 100 said they've had the mother-in-law tell them they're not good enough for her son, Michael.
I think any mother would, if her daughter picks a young man, she would believe that that young man must be good enough for her because her daughter picked him. So I'll say that number is a little bit lower.
A little lower. A lot of agreement from the audience on that. The actual number of women who said their mother-in-law did tell them they're just not good enough for her son is 29. Michael is right. It is lower.
All right.
And
Let's go lower than that 4.
lower?
Higher than the 4. I'm sorry. Higher than the 4.
Well, it was lower before. I guess
Higher
you got a
than
little
the 4,
shell
yeah,
shock.
higher than the 4. I'm sorry.
Higher than the 4. This time it is.
Let's freeze.
And we move over the freeze bar. Debbie needs 1 card. Michael needs 3 cards, and sudden death. Someone has to win it on this play of the cards. Michael, we asked 100 window washers in New York City. While cleaning windows, have you ever seen a woman undress when she didn't know you were watching? How many window washers admitted they've watched a woman undress without her knowing?
Oh, I think that's very, very unlikely, especially in big business buildings and things like that. People don't usually undress and dress in buildings like that. I'll say that number is very low. I'll say maybe 15.
15 out of 100 window washers admitted they've watched the woman undress without her knowing.
I think the number's going to be higher because I think lots of men might get their thrills that way.
Oh, so
Yes,
higher.
they do. Higher.
As long as they don't step back to admire the work, they're all right. Debbie, you say higher. The actual number of window washers who admitted they've watched a woman undress without her knowing is 49. Debbie is right. It's higher. And can you imagine she's standing there nude and she starts to scream and he opens the window and says, "What's the matter, lady? You never saw a window washer before?" Debbie, you've got control in sudden death. With a 7, you need 1 card. And Michael has a 7. He needs 3. You want to play it or pass it?
I'll pass it, Jim.
Okay.
Michael, get them all. You've got the game. 1 mistake, it belongs to Debbie.
All right, I'm going to play that 7 higher. Higher than the 7.
Higher than the 7. No, it's not higher. And Debbie wins it in sudden death. So Debbie took control and took advantage of it. Game 1 to the champion. The challenger has to make a comeback right after this. Game 1 to the champion. Janice deals out the same 2 decks of cards. And now we got a game that Michael needs. And got to thank the Jordan Bulldogs for coming down here and joining us today. Thank you there, Jordan Bulldogs. I'll treasure it. Starting game 2. Question to you, Debbie. Debbie, we asked 100 people. Do you think you'll be driving an electric car within the next 10 years? How many people expect to be driving an electric car within the next 10 years?
Electricity used to be easier to get than gas, but now both of them are in so much demand, I don't think it's really very likely. I think the number will be low, about 50.
50.
Well-
50 or 15?
50.
50. 50 out of 100 say they expect to be driving an electric car.
Well, I think that with the way gas is going and the way the Arabs are going to get tight with us, I think coming up next year, I think that number is going to be a little bit higher.
You say higher than that?
Yes.
The way things are going, it's either going to be that or won't be driving anything. 50 and higher. The actual number of people who expect to be driving an electric car is 49, and not higher. Debbie was very close to being right on. And Debbie starts game 2 with an ace.
All right, lower.
Lower than an ace. A 2.
All right, higher.
Higher than a 2. A 7.
Freeze.
High, low, and right up the middle. And Michael, you really have some catching up to do now. Oh, listen to this. We asked 100 men who are engaged to be married. Were you drunk when you asked your fiancé to marry you? How many engaged men claimed they were drunk when they proposed?
I don't believe that anybody would want to engage to ask somebody to marry them being drunk. I do believe that that's going to be a very, very low number, like 25.
25 out of 100 claimed they were drunk when they proposed,
I
Debbie.
think a lot of men would like to use it as an excuse after they got married, but I think it's going to be even lower than that.
Even lower than
Yes,
that.
sir.
What a terrible question. Did you say lower? The actual number of engaged men who were drunk when they proposed is 5. Very much lower. Debbie, yeah. And Debbie, we left off with a 7.
Change that card.
Changing the 7 to a 4. Good change.
Higher.
Higher than a 4. It is a queen.
Okay, lower.
If this is lower, Debbie wins it and goes again for the big money. It is lower. Debbie wins it. All the cards keep rolling for Debbie, Michael.
Had a ball. Had a nice
Nice
time.
party just for you.
Thank you
Much
very
good
much.
fortune
All
with your
right.
career.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you. Michael Frierson, we'll look for you with Seattle. Debbie, come on down here. Well, you said they wouldn't believe it before. You're going to get a chance to do it again. No, she's for real. And for real, she's going to go for a lot more big money right after this, so don't go away. Back again with our champion, Debbie Norwood. Debbie, what were you saying about a good luck charm?
My daughter gave me a little black fuzzy kitty to bring for good luck today, and I think it's working.
Good. Where is it?
It's in my purse.
Oh. How can it help you there?
Well, I know it's there, and that's what counts.
Yeah, that's right. You're doing good without it. And, of course, we've already played the money cards once today, so we dealt out the cards in front of our studio audience after you cut them, and let's do it again and do it well.
All right.
Here's $200. And let's get at them, Lois. Let's see if we can give her a good base card to start with. A 4. Not bad.
Change that card.
You're going to change the 4?
Yes.
Oh, that's a bit of a surprise. Can she improve it? Oh, right up the middle.
Okay. I'll bet $50 lower.
$50? Lower than a 4. No queen. Well, that's a better card.
I'll bet $100 lower.
$100 lower than a queen. Yeah, there's a great one.
Right. I'll bet $250 higher.
All of it higher than a 2. It is
Okay.
$500 as we move up to 10 and give you
Change
the
that.
other 200.
Change that card.
You've got $700 and she wants to get rid of the 10. That's a better change.
I'll bet $600 lower.
$600 lower than a king. Right again.
Okay. I'll bet $300 lower.
$300. Lower than a jack. Oh, another 2! Oh, those 2s are good for you. Woo.
I'll bet it. Oh, higher.
You don't like to say that word, do you, Deb? $1,600 trying for $3,200 higher. It is another king. Up goes the king with $3,200, Debbie.
I'll bet all a bit lower.
All right, there are 4 aces we haven't seen and 2 kings, but let's see something lower for $6,400 lower. It is! Your luck is not bad, Deb. Not bad at all. Go on down here. You can't talk anymore? Could you read off the amount of money that you've won?
$13,700.
We'll be right back with Debbie. I think she'll get her voice back. Don't go away. Back with our champion, Debbie Norwood, who continues her winning ways. Nicely done, Debbie.
Thank you.
We're going to bring out a new challenger right now as Janice starts dealing out 2 brand new decks of cards. Here comes a new challenger on Card Sharks. Peggy Pearson. Hello, Peggy. Pretty Peggy Pearson.
Yes, thank you.
Why don't you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm from Portland, Oregon. I'm an ex-home economics teacher. I'm now working for a consulting firm. I've got a wonderful husband, a great daughter, and what we like to do with our time is spend it all in the beautiful outdoors in Oregon.
Oh, you've got beautiful outdoors
it's
there, too.
Gorgeous. just
Delighted to have you
gorgeous.
here with us, Peg. You cut your cards?
Yes.
Then here we go. We'll start the match with a question to Debbie. Debbie, we asked 100 policemen, have you ever seen a newspaper lying outside your neighbor's door and swiped it? How many policemen admitted they've swiped a newspaper from their neighbor's door?
Policemen, firemen, anybody, I think, has swiped a newspaper from the neighbor's door.
Yeah?
I do it. My husband does it. Everybody does it. I'd say
Your
90.
neighbors are going to be so glad to hear that, Debbie. How many?
They probably swiped mine, too.
Oh, I see. You said 90.
90.
90 out of 100. What do you think, Peggy?
Oh, no. Policemen get enough of bad news in the work that they do, and I don't think they want to read the newspapers for all that. So if they didn't have it at their front door, they'd let it go. It's going to be low.
Oh, so that's the reason for not swiping it, huh? The actual number of policemen who've swiped the newspaper from their neighbor's door is 24. It's much lower, Peggy. 24, though. I wouldn't even have thought it was that high. Peggy, you start the match with a jack.
That's a pretty good card. Lower.
Lower than the jack? Yes, a 3.
Higher.
Higher than a 3, an 8.
Freeze.
And we move over the freeze bar, and right away, the challenger is in a pretty good position. Peggy, the question to you. Peggy, we often hear about love at first sight. So we asked 100 people, have you ever met someone for whom you had hate at first sight? How many people have met someone they hated at first sight?
I've had that happen to me on occasion, and I have to believe a lot of people have had it happen at least once in their life. It's a high number, 72.
72 out of 100 have hated at first sight, Debbie.
I know a lot of people that I've hated at first sight, and they deserve for me to hate them because they were mean and nasty. I think it's going to be higher.
They proved you right, huh?
Yeah.
Higher. The actual number of people who've met someone they hated at first sight is 59. It is not higher. Peggy. 59. Oh, but more than half. That's a very strong emotion, hate. I'm sorry to hear that. Peggy,
Change
you've got an
that
8.
card.
Getting rid of the middle card. Good change of 6. A little better.
Higher.
Higher than the 6. No, 3 is not higher. And Debbie with a big break and a free chance at a 2.
I like it. Higher.
She loves those 2s. Higher. A 6.
Freeze.
And now we move over the freeze bar and fill in the space for Peggy. And the next question goes to you, Debbie. Debbie, we asked 100 Las Vegas showgirls, have you ever turned down a date with a man because he was too homely? How many showgirls said they have?
I don't think many showgirls really care about that. I really think showgirls like to go out with men who have a lot of money. That's the most important.
How many have turned down a date because he was too homely?
30.
30 out of 100. What do you think, Peggy?
Oh, listen, Las Vegas showgirls get asked out all the time. There got to be a lot of homely men, and a lot of them had to turn it down at least once. It's higher.
You say higher.
Yeah, I say higher.
The actual number of Las Vegas showgirls who turned down a date with a man because he was too homely is 62. Peggy is right. It's higher. Peggy. Now she can get rid of the 6, and it becomes a 4.
Higher.
Higher than a 4. A 9.
Oh, freeze.
And now as we move over the freeze bar, Peggy needs 1 card, Debbie needs 3 cards, and I think we are about out of time. How are we doing on time? We are about running out of time? Yes. There's waving hands at, ha-ha, see that? I knew that. Peggy and Debbie, we're going to invite you back on the next show, okay? We'll finish the match. Thank you for joining us. Remember, on Monday, we're going to be announcing the winner of the home game sweepstakes, so that should be exciting. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Have yourself a good day. Bye-bye.
Aces and deuces are great for the odds, but I'll take the queens who deal out the cards on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry.
Man with very good taste, Janice. That's nice. Thank you very much. Welcome to Card Sharks. Nice to have you here. Yeah, we are delighted with the queens who deal out the cards. You know, I kid them a lot, but Janice and Lois and Marky, who also works with us at other times, they are terrific ladies and a joy to work with. I mean that sincerely. And I'd like to thank Clinton H. Cram for his very good taste and the opening poem. He's from Warwick, Rhode Island, watching us on WJAR-TV, Channel 10. Thank you, Clinton, and I do admire your taste. Now let's open the board and get to the cards. Janice and Lois, after those fine words, don't drop the card. We've got a game in progress with these card cards. Debbie Norwood, our champion. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Jim.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. I'm great. I'm so happy to be here.
Good. And won't you again tell us about yourself?
Sure. I'm originally from Brooklyn. I left my twin sister and the rest of my family back here to come to California with my wonderful husband and beautiful 2 children. And we are very happy out here. I teach nursery school part-time, and in my spare time, my family loves to go camping.
Now, you didn't tell me you were a twin before.
You didn't ask
How,
me, Jim.
oh, I'm sorry. See, it always comes to mind when I meet someone. I say, are you a twin? How was it being brought up as a twin?
Fantastic. You always have a best friend.
Yeah, that's a
Yes,
good way to
you
look at it.
do.
And you've done very well here. Debbie's won $13,700 in cold cash, and that's not bad. Peggy Pearson is our challenger. Hi, Peggy. Good to see you again. And Peggy, won't you again remind us about yourself?
I'm Peggy Pearson from Portland, Oregon. I'm an ex-home economics teacher, and I'm currently working in a consulting firm. I've got a wonderful husband, a great little daughter, and we enjoy beautiful Oregon.
Yeah, that's a lovely country. We were talking
Great.
about that yesterday. I've got to ask you, a home economics teacher, are you a good cook yourself?
My husband says I am the greatest.
That's good. I'm glad he feels that way. Now, you both cut the cards before we started the match? We'll pick up where we left off. We play the best 2 games out of 3, and we are in the middle of game number 1. Looking at the board, Debbie has moved over. She now has a 6 as her base card, needing 3 cards. Peggy, with a 9 as a base card now, needs 1, and that can be very important because as we left off, we are at sudden death. Someone has to win it right now on this play of the cards. And as we left off, Peggy, the question to you. Peggy, we asked 100 women who are professional wrestlers, if tonight were your wedding night, could you carry your husband across the threshold? How many women wrestlers could carry their husband across the threshold?
I have to feel that a lot of those lady wrestlers are married to men wrestlers, and so, you know, maybe they couldn't do it. They might not be as strong in comparison as we think. I think it's going to be something like 36.
36 out of 100 professional wrestler women could carry the husband.
I don't
Higher or
know
lower?
why. Even if they could, I don't know why they would want to carry their husband over a threshold, but I think it's going to be higher.
You figure they're strong.
Yes.
You say higher.
Yes.
This decides control of the board. The actual number of women wrestlers who could carry their husband across the threshold is 83. Oh, yeah. Debbie, it is much higher. Now then, Debbie, you've got that all-important control. With a 6 in sudden death, you could, of course, change it and try to turn over 3 cards. Peggy near the middle with a 9, but she needs only 1. You've got an interesting decision. Play or pass?
I'm going to pass it.
You're going to pass it?
Yes, I am.
Meaning it comes down to 1 call. With a 9, Peggy, if you call this right, you're the winner. Call it wrong. The first game belongs to Debbie. What do you say?
Lower. Go with
And
the
here
odds.
it comes. For the first game, it is lower. Peggy wins it. So it's game 1 of the challenger at $100. And you kind of had your back to the wall there, Deb.
I did.
And now the champion's got to make a comeback. Can she do it? We'll find out right after this. Yeah, you had a tough decision to make there. Okay, it's game 1 of the challenger. Now the champion has to make a comeback. Janice will deal out the same 2 decks of cards with the next cards off the top of the deck. And we'll start game 2 with a question to you, Debbie. Debbie, we asked 100 Catholic priests, are teenagers today less moral than teenagers were in your day? How many priests said teens today are less moral?
I think that they would have more confidence in what they hear in newspapers, because newspapers tend to say the bad things about teenagers. But I think there's a lot more good teenagers out there that we hear about.
How many priests said they're less moral?
I think less moral.
Less moral.
20.
20 out of 100 Catholic priests said they are less moral today than in their day.
It's going to be higher, Jim, because they do a lot of counseling, and I think they see that, you know, it might be less moral today.
So you say
it's
higher. Well, the actual number of priests who said teens today are less moral is 36. It is higher. Peggy. But I'm happy to see that it was much less than half. That's rather a nice reflection on the teens. And Peggy, you start the game with a 6.
Oh, change the card.
Winning the question, you can change it. A 10.
That's a little better. Lower.
Lower than a 10. Yes, a 5.
Higher.
Risking it higher. No. Another 5 is not higher. And a break for Debbie with a free chance to play. A 2.
Okay, higher.
Higher than a 2. An ace. Lower than an ace. An 8.
A freeze.
And Debbie, you get those 2s, as I recall from past days. Janice will fill in the spaces, Peggy. And the question to you. Peggy, we asked 100 third grade boys, if no boys were around for you to play with, would you rather play alone or with a little girl? How many third grade boys would rather play all by themselves?
Third grade boys, some of them would rather play by themselves because they think girls are yucky at that age.
That's the technical term, huh?
Yeah.
Yucky.
I'm going to say 56.
56 out of 100 would rather play all by themselves.
I have a 4th grade, and that's close enough to a 3rd grader. And I think it's going to be much higher. My son would much rather play with his cars than a girl.
Don't want to play with girls.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till he grows up and learns. The actual number of third grade boys who'd rather play alone is 43. Not higher, it's lower. Peggy, well, some of them are learning already. Peggy,
I want
you've got
to
a 10.
change the card.
The 10 becomes a 2.
I got one. Higher.
She got 1, and she's right, it's higher.
Lower.
She's going to take a risk. Yes, a 7.
Freeze. Freeze.
And now we have a dead tie. Both players need 2 cards. You were thinking about that one for a moment,
I sure
Peg.
was.
Debbie, we found 100 men whose wives are at least 6 months pregnant. And we asked them, interesting question, do you know the exact day and place your baby was conceived? How many expectant fathers do know the exact day and place the baby was conceived?
I don't think very many do, because it takes many times sometimes to conceive a baby, and that's really hard to know. So the question was...
Yes, how many know exactly when the baby, the day and place the baby was
I think
conceived?
that's going to be low, 40.
About 40. What do you think, Peggy?
I think only traveling salesmen can predict the actual day. I think it's lower.
Even lower than that. I never could. The actual number of expectant fathers who know the exact day and place the baby was conceived is 36. Peggy is right. It is lower. Yeah. Only traveling salesman. Huh?
Change the card.
Peggy wants to get rid of the 7 and a queen. Good change.
Lower.
Lower than a queen. A jack.
Lower.
If this is lower, we have a new champion. We do. Peggy wins it. And a good job by Peggy. Debbie, time to say goodbye, but a great champion. You've done very well.
Thank you. I had a terrific time.
Thank you. We're delighted for you. $13,700.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Debbie Norwood. Come on down here, Peggy Pearson. Pretty Peggy Pearson. You're going to love it? I hope she's going to love winning a lot of money right after we take time out for this. Yeah, it'll be fun playing it, but let's win too.